The Golden Pendant. In the ancient Yoruba kingdom of Oyo, amidst the lush greenery and rolling hills, there existed a legend that echoed through the ages. This was a tale of a golden pendant, a symbol of divine power and an instrument of profound betrayal. It was said that the pendant held the key to immense power, but also to a cause that would consume anyone who sought to possess it without honor. The story begins with the arrival of a mysterious traveler to the royal court of Oyo. The traveler was a man of indeterminate age, with eyes that seemed to hold centuries of wisdom and secret. Draped in tattered robes and carrying a weathered staff, he walked into the grand palace with an air of quiet authority. The king, Oba Oyekon, was intrigued by this stranger and summoned him to his court. The traveler presented a golden pendant, exquisitely crafted and inlaid with intricate symbols. Its surface gleamed with a light that seemed to shift and dance, casting ethereal reflections across the walls of the palace. The traveler claimed the pendant was a divine gift from Orunmila, the god of wisdom, and that it possessed the power to bestow great strength and foresight upon its bearer. King Oyekon, though skeptical, could not ignore the pendant's mesmerizing beauty and the gravity of the traveler's words. He decided to place the pendant in the royal treasury, guarded by his most trusted warriors, and decreed that it would only be used in the most dire of circumstances. Among those who gazed upon the pendant with longing was Prince Adewale, the king's eldest son. Adewale was a young man of extraordinary talent and courage, admired by his people for his valor and intellect. However, beneath his noble exterior lay an insatiable hunger for power and a belief that he was destined for greatness beyond the confines of Oyo. Over the years, Adewale observed the pendant growing legend and the influence it had over his father and the court. The whispers of its power began to sow seeds of ambition in his heart. He believed that with the pendant, he could not only become the greatest ruler Oyo had ever known, but also protect his kingdom from all threats, real or imagined. One fateful night, driven by an overwhelming desire to seize the pendant, Adewale orchestrated a daring haste. Disguised in the shadows, he bypassed the palace guards and crept into the treasury. The pendant lay on its pedestal, glowing softly in the darkness. As Adewale lifted it, he felt a surge of energy and clarity, a sensation that both thrilled and terrified him. With the pendant in his possession, Adewale embarked on a campaign of conquest and expansion. His armies were unstoppable, his strategies flawless, and his victories resounding. The once quiet whispers of his ambition turned into declarations of his invisibility. Yet, the pendant power began to reveal its darker nature. Adewale's transformation was subtle at first. He grew increasingly paranoid, distrustful of those around him. His once loyal advisors were replaced by sycophants who fed his ego and suppressed dissent. The people who had once revered him began to fear him, and the kingdom's prosperity was overshadowed by an atmosphere of fear and repression. The pendant curse had begun to manifest, a cycle of betrayal and destruction that followed anyone who sought to wield its power for personal gain. Adewale's inner circle was rife with treachery, as friends turned into foes and allies into adversaries. The very power that he had once uplifted him now seemed to conspire against him. In a desperate bid to understand the pendant's cause, Adewale sought out the Oracle of Ife, a revered sage known for her deep connection to the divine. He traveled to the sacred grove where the oracle resided, hoping she could find answers. The oracle, a wise and serene figure, listened to Adewale's tale with a grave expression. She revealed the prophecy associated with the pendant, a cycle of betrayal and ruin that would follow anyone who sought to use its power for selfish purposes. The pendant, she explained, was not merely a tool of power, but a test of character and virtue. Despite the oracle's warning, Adewale was determined to defy fate. He returned to his kingdom, but the damage was already done. His once glorious reign was now a shadow of its former self, plagued by internal strife and external threats. Final blow came during a grand festival intended to celebrate Adewale's supposed victories. As the festivities unfolded, a storm unlike any other descended upon the kingdom. Lightning crackled through the sky, and torrential rainfall battered the palace. The people who had once celebrated Adewale now faced the wrath of nature, a manifestation of the Pendant's curse. In the midst of the chaos, the Pendant was stolen by a rival who had long coveted its power. Adewale's kingdom fell into disarray as his enemies seized the opportunity to attack. The prince, now a broken man, fled into exile, haunted by his own hubris and the betrayal of those who he had trusted. Years later, an older and weary Adewale returned to Oyo, seeking solace and redemption. He approached the kingdom he once ruled with a mixture of humility and regret. King Oyekan, now a wise and compassionate leader, welcomed his son back with open arms, despite the prince's past transgressions. Adewale spent his remaining years in quiet reflection, sharing his experiences and the lessons he had learned with the younger generation. He spoke of the dangers of unchecked ambition and the importance of integrity and honor. The golden pendant, now lost to history, served as a poignant reminder of the consequences of betrayal and the true nature of power. The legend of the golden pendant lived on in Yoruba folklore, a golden powerful tale passed down through generations. It became a symbol of the balance between power and responsibility, and the understanding that true greatness lies not in the possession of extraordinary artifacts, but in the wisdom and humility of those who seek to lead.